Hello everyone and welcome back to Dark Souls Easy Mode. Okay, there's a dragon up on the bridge. If you don't want to deal with him, there's a way to avoid him. Incidentally, if you have got a bow and arrow, you can shoot at the dragon from down here. Later on in the game, if you have a powerful bow and arrow, you can even kill him from here. Right now, if he drops too low, I believe he'll start healing himself. I've never tried that. In earlier patches of the game it was definitely possible to just kill him with any arrows from here because he wouldn't regen health. I believe at this point he does. What you can do, however, is shoot his tail, and that can get you a good starting game weapon. I'll try to show you a good way to get that without using bow and arrow. But keep in mind that the weapon you get from him can carry you through the early game, but not the entirety of the game. And the problem is... Okay, you come here. Come on. Don't want to fight you on that narrow ledge. And the problem with that weapon is... Wow, you're broken. Come on. The problem with the weapon is it has no scaling. So... Usually in an RPG like this, if you find that a section, an area, an enemy is too difficult, you could level up your character, so you become stronger. Or you could level up your equipment and become stronger that way. It's always, in an RPG, if an area is too difficult, then you need to upgrade yourself more before you can tackle it. Hop off the edge with you, come on. Huh? Okay, there we go. And the weapon you get from cutting his tail kind of prevents you from doing both of those things. Because, it cannot be, well, it can be upgraded, but the items required to do so are a little difficult to come by. And it doesn't scale. So with the longsword I have right now, I'll just show you. You can see it has param bonus, first column of the item description. It has a C in strength and dexterity, which is decent-ish, basically. It means as I increase my strength and dexterity, the damage of this weapon will go up. Do I have anything that doesn't scale? Yes, the light crossbow, for example. This has no param bonus, which basically means it will do a certain amount of damage, but I cannot do anything to increase that by increasing my character stats. In order to make that weapon do more damage, I would have to upgrade the weapon, and there's a very, very clear limit on that. Yeah, so weapons without scaling. I guess what I'm trying to get at is that by removing certain ways to improve the weapon from you, because, well, upgrading it is difficult because the upgrade items are hard to come by and scaling doesn't exist, so you can deal more damage by upgrading your character. It means you don't realize that you might need to do those things at some point. So you don't do them, because that weapon doesn't have that ability. It doesn't give you that ability. And thus, you will end up... Oh, come on, spit fire already, you lazy bastard. I know the dragon's up there. He should be spitting fire. Wow, he is lazy. Come on, do it. There we go. Can be a handy way to farm souls, by the way, if you're really, really struggling to get souls. Just run down to the bonfire, reset the enemies, run up, and trigger the fire breath. Now what I would suggest is... this. And now we want to go... right here. And eventually the dragon will come down. Because we're safe from his fire here, but he knows we're here, so he wants to kill us, so he'll come down. And yeah, people will tell you he's not a dragon, he's a wyvern. And wow, that's the second time he's done that for me. You bastard. This is not the way it's meant to go. I don't want to die to him right now, though. I think if I go somewhere over here, I'll make him fly away. Yeah, he'll fly away soon. There we go. I wasted the pine resin here, which is a bit of a shame, but usually it doesn't go the way it just did. Just a bit tedious. Okay, let me just get this item. Titanite shard, that was actually worth it. Well, I'll actually reset him. I'll try to show you how to get that weapon from his tail. Again, well, not again. There's a bunch of enemies in this game, most of them dragons, where if you cut their tail, you get a special weapon. And this is one of them. And as I've explained, this special weapon is very powerful early game, but it will scale very poorly and eventually become quite useless at some point. And yeah, I just... I know you can come back. Maybe if I have to go back here, I don't know. I do want to show you this, and it's already not worked for me once, so... Okay, dragon, please. Seriously? Gonna make me a liar? Well, this is what the bridge looks like if you don't have a dragon. Wyvern, whatever. And yeah, if you don't want to deal with the dragon, you can also do what I did and go below the bridge and deal with those rats, and then you'll be past the section. The disadvantage is that you don't get the bonfire. Well, there's just no dragon here. He'll come back eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, might as well. I think teaching people how to get that sword is a very sloppy thing to do anyway. Because it means they'll get a really overpowered weapon, but suddenly at some point it'll become really useless and they don't know what to do anymore because they never learned how to upgrade or do anything else really. So yeah, just... You could have... I told you how to get it using a bow and arrow by just shooting the tail, and... I don't know. Usually the way it works is the dragon will, once he flies down, he will land in a very specific location, so if you run along the right side, you will be able to get his tail quite easily, and using the pine resin it takes 3 swings to get the tail cut. I guess, I don't know, doesn't want to work out. There's a tough encounter up this tower, which I won't do yet. In this section here, I'll also show you the kind of when I say intended, I mean the other way that you could deal with this area is also fully intended. It's just something that a new player probably won't be able to do the first time around. Essentially, there's a guy, the one standing right to the left of that huge armored boar. And as soon as you get close to him, he will run back and close a gate, and that'll force you to go quite a long way around and deal with some nastiness. And if you basically run a certain path through this area quickly enough, you can get past him before he closes the gate, and then you can just avoid all this stuff right here. And you'll see him move away there. See the guy running back? It's a bit difficult to see unless you're in full screen, but he'll run through that gate and then trigger it. Now you. Oh dear, the boar has already seen me. Oh well. I'll just kill spear guy here, where I'm safe from the boar. Another way to deal with them, by the way, as you can see, is you can kick their shield to the side. There's another dude up here. He's a bit annoying because you've got crossbow guys shooting at you. Go on, attack. Really? Nothing? Ow! Wow, I did mess up that one quite badly. Yeah. I find this big guy a bit tedious to deal with, because he is incredibly defensive, and the more of his allies are around, the more defensive he'll get. And yeah, that can just get really annoying. And then I mistimed the parry, and it just kind of all went to hell. Unfortunately, because they are so defensive and always circle strafing and not really attacking you, it's very difficult to pull him to a place where you're safe from the crossbow guys. So and you can die. There you go. Somewhat sloppy, but it worked. Okay, now crossbow guys. And one of the sword guys from below also saw me, but he appears to be stuck on the boar. Now, you get alluring skulls here, which basically lure enemies to the location where you throw them. And it's no coincidence that they give them to you right in this spot. They want you to do this. Which, enemies that are attracted to souls, which is, well, a lot of them, they will try to get to that location, and they don't care if there's a fire in the way. Like this boar. As you can see, he's kind of running into the fire there, and he will die from it. And before anyone says cheese, I didn't really mean to throw that, but fine. You are meant to be doing it this way. Well, meant to. The game gives you the alluring skulls in that particular location, not randomly by accident. It knows that this is an option, and that this is an option you might want to take if you're struggling with the boar, which fighting him on open ground, it's possible, but it's somewhat difficult. Now, I would always advise anyone to go for a backstab against the guy, because the animation is hilarious, but... literally, but yeah, those alluring skulls are there particularly to teach you how to use them in this section, so... Basically, as you play the game, do not be discouraged by people saying, oh, doing it this way is cheap, or that's the cheese way to fight these guys. I know there's a guy right to the left here. Right to the left, never mind. Okay. There usually is also a guy to the left there, never mind. in this particular area, really be careful, don't advance too fast, because there's a lot of these hollows, and while a single one of them is not threatening too much, multiple of them can actually be a huge pain. Here we get the mystery key. If you have the master key, you don't technically need that one, but again, I will play through this and show you stuff as though I didn't have the master key. Oh dear, there's someone else on the ladder. Is he not moving? I don't know. He kind of got stuck on that ladder. Usually enemies can climb ladders. Well, certain enemies can climb ladders, not all of them. But that's the first time I've seen one of them get stuck. You can still attack while on a ladder though. Just... I don't know. As I said, first time I've seen someone get stuck there. So yeah, if you're on a ladder and there's someone above you or below you, you can still basically R1 or RB, punching upwards, and the trigger is kicking downwards. But if you lose stamina while on a ladder, this happens. So if you run out of stamina, rather. So something to be careful about. And this, I believe, is the brightest fog gate in the game, for some reason. I think it's just kind of how the lighting in this area happens to work out. Okay, there's a dude back here. We haven't seen these before. They're called Boulder Knights. This is his parry stance. While he's in his parry stance, he will parry... Oh dear. He will parry. What he can't parry, however, is jumping attacks. They cannot be parried. Or at least they cannot be parried by these guys. Going for backsteps or riposte against them is possible, but I wouldn't try it unless you know what you're doing. I find the timing against them to be a bit difficult. Let's see, I should be able to hit him with a throwing knife. And also I should probably get this off my bar, or I'll just accidentally use it. Now let's see how far he comes. He might lose aggro and be elsewhere by the time I return, but... Again, the level design in this game is very deliberate, so being able to hit him from there, I'm inclined to say that's fully intentional. If the game didn't want to give you sniping spots, then it would have put something in the way. It would not have given you a sniping spot if it didn't want you to have that option. So, again, when people tell you something is cheap or something is doing it wrong or whatever, just play it your way, I guess. And if you're successful, then you have done something right. I mean, play it your way often sounds like anything goes, and, well, technically, yeah, if you want to cheat, that's fine. But using the environment to your advantage in this particular game isn't cheating, it's exactly how you're meant to do it. Also note how the throwing knives do barely any damage. I doubt I'll be able to get to him before he loses aggro, or I will. Nice. I could have just stayed down there, wait for him to lose aggro, and then he would have walked back, and I could have thrown another knife at him and eventually killed him that way. Now, it's just a spear dude, right? He's not that difficult. Yes, that's correct, but he's standing... His default location is right here. If you go out to get him, then this guy will also aggro. Ouch. I would go backstab fishing against them, by the way. It's a bit of a narrow pathway, not exactly easy to deal with. He's contemplating going for a heal. And now he's dead. Okay, we'll go over there next time. Right now I want to get to the bonfire, upgrade my sword, and then essentially be done with it. Yes, I'm out of Estus, I know. Doesn't matter. There we go. Now that backstab did 108 damage. Just keep that number just somewhere in the back of your mind, I guess. Well, it's not too long of an episode yet. I'll rest here. Reverse my hollowing. As you can see, I have 0-2 humanity at the top right there. It basically means I have 2 humanity. You sometimes get this from just killing enemies in an area where you haven't defeated the boss yet. The precise mechanics of that are a little complex, but basically as you kill enemies before you've already killed the boss in an area, you will slowly sometimes gain humanity. It's a mechanic introduced so that if you find a boss difficult, and you keep dying to him, and you keep having to run back to him, and you keep killing the enemies along the way, then the game will occasionally give you that humanity, which will allow you to become human and summon help for the boss. I'm pretty sure that's why they put that in. And then once we're human, we can kindle the fire, and this will increase the Estus refills it gives us. So this bonfire is now permanently kindled to +1, or to 10, or whatever you want to, however you want to denote that, basically. But it means whenever we rest at it throughout this playthrough and any future playthrough with this character, we will get 10 Estus instead of 5. And as I said, this kindled status will stay with this bonfire through basically the entire life cycle, lifespan, whatever, of this character. So if I switch characters, it won't be kindled, but if I go into New Game +5, it will still be kindled. And eventually we'll unlock the ability to kindle twice more, so giving us up to 20 Estus flasks, but we can't do that yet. Okay, there's one more encounter I want to do here before I finish the episode, and that's this guy. It's a Baronique Knight. This is the first enemy we encounter that can be parried, but not riposted. So you can get that parry animation. Ouch. Although it's kind of risky because he does high damage. You cannot get a riposte. Okay, get out of that corner a little. I want to be able to circle strafe. He's also able to heal, but he doesn't always do it. Once he's low on health, he'll start trying to gain some distance, like now. But he doesn't always go for a heal once he's gained some. There we go. But you can easily interrupt him. So him trying to heal is just basically giving you a free attack. And he always drops a Titanite shard. Yeah, let's go here. Let's go and upgrade my weapon and end the episode. It's already been quite long. And this is a feature that you should never ever ignore, the ability to upgrade your weapons. And I've seen a lot of people that do it. And they run through an area once and if they didn't get enough items or upgrade items, they just don't bother upgrading. I've seen people face late game or end game bosses with barely upgraded stuff because I didn't get any more Titanite shards, so I only have a, I don't know, Battle Axe +4. And then they wonder why a boss is difficult when you're supposed to have a weapon at +15 at that point. I mean, obviously, if you ignore the majority of your upgrade system because the game didn't give you enough Titanite shards, well, it's your problem, right? There's a reason this guy sells them, and there's a reason the enemies in this area drop them. You're meant to be able to get them here, but you might have to farm them or buy them. You don't get all the upgrades you need for free by just running through each area once, and that's what I mean about people thinking this is an action game.
Get yourself not.
In an action game, you would not have to grind ever. It's something that's being done in role-playing games. In an action game, you would go through an area exactly once, and it would give you enough soul pickups or item pickups or whatever it happens to be in your game of choice, and you could afford the upgrades from that you require to be able to progress through the game. In a role-playing game, the idea that you might have to go through an area multiple times, or you might have to farm and grind for experience and gear and money and all that, I don't know, in a game like Final Fantasy, everyone would expect, you know, having to go and farm. And, you know, getting money that way and stuff. Not so in this game. People seem to think that it shouldn't be necessary, which is... It's a basic misunderstanding of what the game is really about, I'd say. So you saw, we went from 108 to 202 on the backstab by upgrading the sword to +5, which is currently the maximum we can do. And that's quite good. It's decent damage. Now I'll just go back down to Firelink Shrine, which this shortcut takes us there. I kindled that bonfire. I did kindle for a specific reason. Later on, it becomes a bonfire that you might have to start from repeatedly. It's just kind of a central bonfire. It's a warp location when we get that, so it's a bonfire that's useful to have kindled. But for just the next upcoming boss fight, you can get there quite easily from this bonfire, which is always kindled already because it has a firekeeper at it. So yeah. But that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.